കോടി രൂപ നൽകുമെന്ന് മാതാ അമൃതാനന്ദമയി മഠം പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചു.
A couple of generous gifts made public today by famous people. An Indian religious figure, the so-called Hugging Saint, has said she will give $22 million to rebuild homes in India which the tsunami has destroyed.
On December 26, 2004, an earthquake measuring 9.0 on the Richter scale occurred off the coast of Indonesia's Sumatra Island. The quake spawned a massive tidal wave or tsunami which affected the shores of Kerala as well.
Amma's Amritapuri Ashram, the Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt, is located in the state of Kerala in southern India. It rests on a narrow peninsula cradled between the Arabian Sea and the Kayamkulam backwaters.
A seawall had been built to safeguard the shores from tidal surges. Around noon, the first wave swept over the wall, flooding one side of the peninsula with all its villages.
Amma sent instructions asking everybody to immediately leave the beach, move their vehicles and return to the ashram. Her swift response saved many lives.
One more baby is coming.
Did she say when?
She called us.
She said get things lifted because one more will be there.
Amma പറഞ്ഞു.
Amma said, within half an hour, the sea is going to flood with tremendous strength. Go and shift all the people from the ground floor to the first floor.
Then she told me that, are you still here? Why don't you go? You have to go and move the car or else it's going to be washed away. Then I decided to go and by the time I reached the car, the first wave had hit the coast and the car was washed down to about 50 feet. I went back to stand next to mother. Then she again asked me, where did you park the car? When I told her that I parked it inside the hospital compound, she said it's going to be washed again. So after 10 minutes, the second wave hit the coast.
At 12:52 p.m., a much larger wave swept the entire peninsula.
Many villagers ran to the ashram for shelter.
As the water surged over the ashram grounds, confusion followed.
About 20,000 people were at Amritapuri, including 1,000 international visitors and 3,000 ashram residents.
Amma directed rescue operations from the first moment.
She immediately instructed people to climb to the upper floors of the temple and the other ashram buildings. On the roof of the temple, many prayed and chanted. A brahmachari stood waist deep in water and cut off the electricity supply, saving hundreds of lives. One old lady saw her hut collapsing.
The water came as a massive flood. It was up to my neck.
The ashrams flooded and some of its property damaged, but not one of the people who were there was seriously injured.
Amma said that in the wake of so much destruction, it was grace that had saved them.
Amma sent brahmacharis to nearby beach houses to evacuate women and children. She directed boats to local villages to rescue survivors.
The Alapar village area, of which the ashram is a part, experienced the most damage in all of Kerala. In this poor fishing community, people lost their homes and their livelihoods, and their livestock.
My small fish boat.
My small fishing boat and net were destroyed. Amma is helping us with money. Our family will go to the ashram.
Many of the villagers' family members were dead or missing. More than 180 people were killed. Many of them were children.
Oh God, where is my child?
And here they had just received the body of the 3-month-old child that had been washed out of the mother's arms with the water. And they explained that so many children died that way.
I held those children in my arms and they were crying, and I felt like inside I was crying with them, so that's what changed my life.
The people didn't know what had caused the flooding. More water could come at any moment.
Amma will arrange the boat. Go up, don't listen to anyone else.
She determined that everyone should be moved across the backwaters to Amrita University on the mainland. She instructed that the villagers be taken first, the visitors next, and then the ashram residents. Before sending them across, Amma asked the villagers if all their family members were with them. She didn't want anyone separated from their families.
Don't be afraid. There is nothing to worry about. Come here. Who was with you? Prakash, go to the other side and make tea. People are tense.
It was wonderful to see how everyone swung into action. There were people carrying the elderly on chairs right from the top down to the bottom. And I've since learnt that Amma just took command of everything, and she was standing there saying, "Are you with your family? Do you have your passport?"
No problem. Okay, but okay, passport. Okay, no problem. Your family okay? No problem. This going for like Ayurvedic college.
The temple became the shelter for the cows and 2 elephants.
Boats transported people across the backwaters to Amrita University.
Initially, the Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt accommodated 600 families at the Amrita University, which consists of an engineering school, a computer institute, and an Ayurveda school. When the nearby government schools reopened, the ashram also provided accommodation for the 2,000 refugee families who had been living there. Some families who were staying in makeshift structures in nearby temple premises did not feel that the women were safe there. So, those 1,500 additional families were also accommodated at Amrita University. 6 ambulances from AIMS, the ashram's charitable hospital in Cochin, were sent to nearby areas in Kollam district to facilitate doctors and nurses in treating the distressed and injured. In addition, 4 ambulances each were deployed in the affected areas in Tamil Nadu and Cochin.
Not just the old people, but almost everybody was in a state of shock. They couldn't face the situation. To provide mental support and physical treatment was the need of the time. I really don't know how we were able to provide all of this. I'm sure it is because of Amma's guidance and grace that we were able to help.
The day after the floods, the ashram provided free land transport in the villages, and food was served to everyone, including the police and the paramilitary forces.
Besides relief camps around Amma's village, camps were set up in other parts of Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh.
Amma traveled to the local relief camps.
We have plenty of food, a place to sleep, medicine, and electricity. It is all done by Amma, the Swamis, and the Ashramites. They didn't even sleep. Amma came and talked to everybody.
Amma also visited the hospitals to comfort people who were sick and injured and their loved ones.
Amma had not eaten or slept. When offered a glass of water, she said, "How can I drink when so many people have lost their lives?"
Amma said, "We are immensely sad thinking of those who have passed away. Even so, we have to accept the fact that they are no longer with us." Amma, however, said that the pain of the ones who loved them is very much alive. That is what saddens her the most.
Amma sent a big group from the ashram, including the most senior disciples, to assist with the mass cremation rites. The group built the funeral pyres.
Swamis and brahmacharis carried logs and arranged for coconut husks and shells.
Amma's brahmacharinis consoled the mourning families and tried to give them some strength. Most of the households had lost one or two family members. In accordance with Indian tradition, the oldest son lights the funeral pyre of his parents.
Before the pyres were lit, ashram residents chanted the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
Amma is a religious leader in India, a very powerful figure in that country. Amma means mother. She's the hugging saint. She hugs individuals. She is pledging $22 million.
This pledge of over $22 million made international headlines and is one of the biggest tsunami relief measures by a single organization. It is inspiring people all over the world to help in whatever way they can.
The deadly tsunami is sparking a huge relief effort here in the East Bay. A woman behind it all is known as the Hugging Saint. NBC 11's Cheryl Hurd shows us how the relief effort is helping thousands of tsunami victims in India.
respond to the disaster in South Asia. The Hugging Saint is there to help organize. She just happened to be in India when the tsunami hit. She even helped get the word out to thousands to head for higher ground. And now people are reacting to her work here at home because they see the desperate need for help.
The funds are being used to provide long-term and short-term relief. Some long-term provisions include free permanent housing, education, counseling, and fishing boats. Short-term measures include food, clothing, medical care, temporary housing, and household essentials.
In reality, the actual worth of the relief provided by the ashram is much greater than its face value, since most of the services and labor are provided free of charge by thousands of Amma's volunteers from all over the world.
The rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts are taking place in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Pondicherry, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Amma's volunteers serve refugees at the Amrita University relief camps and the 12 government relief centers in Kerala. In Tamil Nadu, Amma's volunteers serve the refugees in Nagapattinam, Chennai, Kadalur, and Kanyakumari. At the Amrita University relief camps, thousands of people from diverse backgrounds share the same roof, food, and facilities. From the minute the ashram set up its relief camps at Amrita University, the cooking began. Amma visited the kitchen to inspect the food preparations. Every day the kitchen used thousands of kilos of rice and upma or hot cereal and truckloads of vegetables. About 1500 liters of milk were distributed. In addition to serving 3 meals a day to over 3,600 families, in the Amrita University campus, hundreds of volunteers traveled from Amrita University to serve 3 meals a day to between 12,000 and 15,000 refugees in 12 government relief camps.
From the very beginning, we started distributing food in 6 or 7 trucks. This went on continuously, 24 hours a day.